April the 3rd, 1903. Finished my sowing and planting. 5 months to the day since Grace Lovell and I were married. Wonderful girl. Can I be worthy of her? My task here seems almost too great without her help. An entire community regard me as their head. Their troubles are mine. So much work and worry. But how I love this valley.
Never seen the like of that before. Shouldn't be allowed. Scaring God's creatures. Mr. Craddock ought to be told.
Grace, I wonder if you've time to do something for me today.
Well, if I haven't time, I'll make it.
I'm terribly busy. I've got about a dozen people to see on the estate. Could you possibly go over and see Sam Potter and his wife? I did promise to see how the baby was getting on.
Don't think me unwilling, but the baby won't die if you leave it for a few days.
Well, I am godfather. Pauline. You know, the Potters had never heard of the name, but they did want to call her after me.
What shall I take her this time?
Oh, Rattle. Something. You know better than me.
I'm not very good about babies. I will go.
You don't mind?
No. No, of course not.
You're sure?
I am the squire's lady. It's my job.
Grace, I know all this is very different from your old life. You travelled and you had intellectual interests.
I knew what I was taking on. I shall be a good wife.
I hope in time it will become more than that.
Perhaps.
It is more than that for me.
I know.
And for you? Not yet?
Give me time.
Grace. Don't I please you enough?
How can you ask that after the pleasure we've given each other?
Well, then.
Oh, my dear. I'm a riddle, even to myself.
You're wonderful.
Paul, please don't idolize me.
Why ever not?
Please don't.
Come in.
Sir, ma'am, I've just seen a dreadful man like a monster.
A monster?
All in white. In one of they carriages there, horses.
A motor car. Here in the valley?
Oh, Paul, you can't run away from the machines. They'll come here.
It shouldn't be allowed. A man's got 2 legs, ain't he? And if they'm tired out, he got a bottom to sit on an horse.
Who the devil can it be?
You sound a little odd when you talk about Mrs. Craddock, Gov.
Do I, Ronnie? I didn't mean to.
Come on, old boy, what is it? Has Mr. Craddock's marriage made any difference? To you, I mean.
No, not really.
Well, then?
She's a Lovell.
Ah, and the Lovells made your life hell, didn't they, Gov?
I used to hope you'd never know.
I did, even when I was a kid.
They ruined the estate. When I tried to reason with them, they used to shut me up. And I had to swallow it. There were your school fees, you see.
Father.
I didn't know what my future was from one day to the next. Well, I wouldn't care for it to be like that again.
Is she taken against you?
No, not really. I mean, I got nothing against her personally. Seems a nice enough girl. It's just that I feel a bit uneasy with a Lovell up at the big house.
It's the man who wears the trousers, Gov.
Paul, he's like a moonstruck calf. Anyway, I'm probably being unfair to the girl.
You're an old woman hater.
Yes, yeah, perhaps so. But I should hate to see Paul get hurt. I owe him everything.
No more than he owes you.
Now, quite apart from what he's done for me, he's so decent and innocent. Well, I sometimes fear for him as I would another son.
But surely the Germans could never hope to rival the British Navy.
Mr. Rudd.
Not for me, thank you, Mrs. Craddock.
Why do you laugh?
You chaps are sure think the British Navy is the Rock of Ages.
Well, isn't it? Just because that wretched Kaiser is trying to build more
I
battleships.
dare say we can beat the Kaiser, but can we beat the Admiralty?
But British seamanship is unequal.
The seamen are all right, but come to our war, half of them will go straight to the bottom.
My dear boy.
Sent there by badly designed ships, out-of-date tactics, and antiquated blockheads in Whitehall. I say, I'm sorry. Talking rot. Frightful bore. It's the excitement of having one's tea served in good china by a charming lady instead of by a mess hand.
Oh, I wasn't bored, Mr. Rudd. I share your views about men in high places.
I say, do you?
Are you on leave for long?
10 days. I'm in the Cressy. We're docked at Plymouth. I thought I'd pop over, try out the new toy.
45 miles in 3 hours. Incredible.
What make is your motor?
She's a Benz, Mrs. Craddock.
Isn't that the one the Germans copied from the Riley?
Extraordinary person you are.
They'd be patronizing. I have ridden in motors in London. A Panhard and a Daimler. May I see your machine?
Delighted.
Good. Shall we go?
What now, Mrs. Craddock?
Well, you don't mind, do you, Paul?
No, no. Do go.
You will forgive us for deserting you, Mr. Rudd.
Of course.
Does she boil badly on hills?
Not at all, things considered. Taken up just about every hill in Dartmoor. She hasn't installed once.
She wants me to buy one. My dear John, Roddy was indulging himself in the British privilege of grousing, that's all.
Of course.
He loves the Navy, I can see that.
Yes, yes, he does.
He'll have a long, distinguished, but uneventful career.
I hope so.
Well, surely you don't imagine...
But where's it leading us, Paul? These machines, all this competition and greed, saber rattling.
Well, I don't see another South Africa.
I'm not talking about a sideshow. I'm talking about Armageddon.
As your son would say, rot. You are fond of that boy, John.
You wait till you go one of your own. He's all I've got. All I've got.
You bear children and bring 'em up, and this is what you get for it. London. Lord, whatever will become of you?
That's a lot, love.
What's she want to go traipsing off for, I'd like to know? She's got a good home here, ain't she?
Leave her alone, Mother.
She can speak for herself, can't she?
She's upset.
Well, then let her stay at home. There's comfort in your own home when you're grieved. Nowhere else, I can tell you, Claire.
Not going to the end of the earth.
Nearly, London. Young maid on her own. Not pretty, there's still time for you to change your mind. None of us will think the worse of
Mother,
you.
please.
I suppose 'tis because Squire's married that Lovell girl.
It's got nothing to do with him. Or her.
I don't blame you feeling upset. Fool he be marrying that flighty gad about with her strange ways. Fine lady of the manor she'll be.
Where is Father?
Fool he be for jilting you.
Nobody jilted anyone.
Well, everybody thought...
Mother!
Then ask your sister to stay. You do make me unhappy, Claire.
Oh, Mother. I am sorry.
If you must go away, you can stay in Paxtonbury. Your Auntie Doris will take you.
I don't want to go to my Auntie Doris.
Then stay somewhere near, where I can see my own girl off times, and where you can meet all the young men who know you and what a good home you come from.
I want to take up nursing.
Now, don't you care about him? There's better fish in the sea. Only they got to be fished for.
Mother, she wants a career.
A career? Whatever does a young maid want with a career? Oh, dear, I don't know what everything's coming to.
Mother, I'm going to be a nurse. And London is the best place to train.
A nurse? Oh, Claire, like any common woman.
There are many good girls from good homes who are becoming nurses.
Oh, it's respectable, Mother. It is, really.
How can it be? Doing all those dreadful things for strangers? For men?
I've been doing those dreadful things for animals, but I'd sooner do them for people.
Rose, tell her not to go.
She'll soon find another young man. An handsome doctor.
Oh, love, you're so pretty.
Ready, go?
Edward, I don't want her to go. You beg her, please.
I'm not a man to beg. Stay for your mother's sake, go. You a good worker? How, Missy?
You got a train to catch. Bye, Mother. Bye, Rose.
All right. Children. It is just another word for sorrow.
Mr. Willoughby,
Sit down, Will.
No.
I wouldn't know what to do with my feet.
Oh, very well. Glass of lemonade?
No, thank you.
Won't you tell me what you wanted to see me about?
Yes, Mr. Willoughby. It's about me and your Eleanor.
Eleanor?
Me and Eleanor's been walking out for quite some time now.
Walking out?
Well, not exactly walking out. That wouldn't do, see. People are talking. My mother, you know my mother.
Mrs. Consul does not approve.
She's dead against it, Mr. Willoughby.
And Mr. Consul, your father? I see. Oh, you say my Eleanor's been meeting you?
Yes, sir.
In secret?
Turned men as a secret, sir. 'Twas just to stop gossip, you know. My mother, she's a terrible woman.
But it has been in secret. Oh, I never thought my daughter would keep anything from me. She's always been a good girl.
She'd be a good girl, sir. 'Twere nothing wrong, nothing.
Yes. And you've come here like a decent young man because you wish to meet her here, with my sister, Miss Mary, present, as is proper.
Well, sir...
Yes. I'd sooner you met here than in dark corners where you're at the devil's mercy.
'Tis not to meet, sir. 'Tis to wed. I wants to wed your Eleanor.
Wed? Wed my child?
She's no child, sir. She's a young woman, and she wants to wed me. We can't wait, sir. 'Tis been too long. Us can't wait no more.
Auntie.
I'm praying for you, dear.
Auntie, please talk to him.
Is there some reason why you cannot wait?
She be a good girl, sir.
Then be patient, as you have been. Why do you ask now?
'Cause I were 21 Monday, sir, so I don't have to ask parents' permission no more.
What's your future to be? You need a farm to support a wife.
Yes, sir.
I cannot employ you here. This farm will not pay a wage. And when I'm gone, it's for my son Frank.
I know that, Mr. Willoughby.
And if you go against your mother, you'll be disinherited, no matter what your father thinks. His farm will go to your younger brother.
I'll go out as a labourer, sir.
Tis folly. Marriage brings children. Love will not feed them, only bread and butter.
I know that, sir. But you're a man of God. I came to ye 'cause Eleanor and I don't know which way to turn. We'm afeard of our own natures.
Oh, Lord. Lord, I too do not know which way to turn. Guide me, O Lord.
Auntie, what's happening? I can't stand it anymore.
Be patient, love. I want you to be happy.
Well, go on and tell him then.
No, I can't. I mustn't.
Eleanor, will you come in, please?
Yes, Father.
Well, Eleanor? And I say, therefore, to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them to abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. And it says in Genesis, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
Oh, Father.
Mr. Willoughby, sir.
It's a case of the sooner the better, son. I'll make arrangements at the chapel. Our ministers will wed you within the month.
Yes, sir. And don't need fret about bread and butter. I'll go abroad to look for work. 10, 20 mile, I don't care. Eleanor come with me, won't he?
Oh, I'll go anywhere with you, Will.
Well, I'll be getting along now, sir.
One moment, Will. Your parents.
I'm 21, sir. I'm free.
Would you wed to provoke grief, discord, hatred even? All my life I've refused to quarrel with my neighbours, even when it meant turning the other cheek. I shall not do so now. The wedding will not take place if your parents oppose it.
But that means no, sir.
But you're 21, Will. You're a man now. You must be a man and face your parents. Convince them as you have me. If God wishes, they will agree. His will be done.
Sir.
I'll go to the end of the road with you.
You'll have to lose her someday.
Yes, yes. I know. She's the image of her dear mother. It'll be like losing half of myself all over again.
3 5's 15.
Getting on with your own work then, Sidney?
Yes, Mother. 4 5's 20.
Toughest
5
class
5's
this week.
25. 6 5's 30.
Well, haven't you got a word for your son?
8 5's 40.
Don't take
9
up so much
5's
room.
45.
Crumbs of
10
potato
5's 50.
everywhere, like an
11
animal.
5's 55.
I ought to make you eat in a
12
cow
5's
shed.
60.
All these years I've been trying to make something out of you, and look at you. Look at you! Look what you've done now all over my clean floor. And here's another one. Wipe your boots before you come into my room. Where have you been?
Deep Dean.
Seeing that slut again.
She bain't a slut.
I won't have you seeing her.
'Twas her father I saw.
Her father? Edwin Willoughby, that common dissenter?
He'm a preacher.
A chapel preacher. Bain't paid an halfpenny for it. And a farm no bigger than my handkerchief. What you have to say to him?
I told him I wants to wed his Eleanor. He said yes.
Oh! Oh, what have I done to deserve this? Haven't I been a good wife and mother to you all? Of course he said yes. I'm sure he said yes. Psalms singing small old as scrapping a living out of a few scraggy ends. He put her up to this. He's trying to palm her off into me.
Don't talk of my Eleanor as though I were odd up for a man.
She's after all she can get out of us.
She's the prettiest girl in the valley. 'Tis me that's lucky.
Ah, my son marrying a farm wench without a penny to bless her name. Look at the home I've made for you. My wedding portion. Look at it. Do you think I mean to let that pass to her? And you, haven't you got a tongue in your head?
You're being a bad maid.
Who asked you to encourage him? You know what this means if you go against me?
Father.
My father's money stocked this farm. When I think of the way you behaved, when I took you to meet that nice Miss Hackett, a nice girl, or a fine girl, and her father a pork butcher.
She got a face like a bloody sow.
That's right, 2 cars into the bargain. You and your father are 2 of a kind. This is my son, the only one in the house who hasn't shamed me. I suppose you mean to get married in their chapel.
I do.
You hear that? Do you hear that and sit there silent? Haven't you got any blood in your veins?
We could have Willoughby over, talk to him.
I'd see him dead first. And you. Me. Related to a nonconformist. Related! Well, if you're so undutiful as to go against me, I'll not have you in this house. No, your wife neither.
Mother, I couldn't manage the farm without her will. I'd have to take on a man and a boy.
Then work harder, you lazy oaf. As to you, you can forget it. Do you hear me? Forget it.
Yes, Mother. I'll be getting along now.
Where, pray, do you think you're going?
To Deep Dean. Mr. Willoughby'll give me a bed, 'cause he's a Christian.
You'll not leave here, Will Codsall. You'll not bring shame and disgrace to my door. You'll stay here and do as you're told, like your father does.
Stand out of me way, Mother.
I will not.
Mother!
Go on, assault me, lay hands on your mother. If you go, I'll come after you and fetch you back like the dumb brute you are. Oh! And Hexabar's clock! All the way from London, the only one in the valley! Oh! Sidney!
This came from the solicitors. It's the deeds of the Ardcastle freehold. Ours now.
It's the last freehold between my land and Gilroy's.
60 acres on the edge of the moors. Rough, not much we can do with that.
I didn't want Gilroy to have a single foot in my valley.
Well, I suppose we could rent it to Arthur Pets. Runs with Hermitage.
No, I think I'll keep this. I want to think about it. We ought to at least help with the drainage down here by the river.
Oh, this is from Ted Derwent.
Oh, yes.
Says the foxes in Shallowford Woods had taken his ends.
What do you want us to do about it?
Shoot him. Huh. Or pay for better wire round his runs.
If I dared shoot them, Parson Bull would set the hounds on me. This isn't Claire's handwriting. She usually writes his letters.
Yes, well, not anymore. She's gone to live in London.
Good Lord, why didn't I hear of it?
Went yesterday.
What did you want to do that for?
Officially trained as a nurse.
Officially?
Well, you'd know better than me if there's any other reason.
extraordinary.
What shall I tell Derwent? About the foxes?
Claire and I were pals, that's all.
Well, dare say it's for the best.
Nursing. Well, I wish her luck. You can tell Derwent I'll pay to have his runs refenced.
I'll tell him.
I've got to get down to the home farm. Honeyman wants to see me. About the ploughing. Oh, I'll take this.
As I was just taking the motor out for a spin, I wondered if you'd care to come.
I'd love to.
Tremendous.
But I have a lot to do, and I'm expecting Mr. Craddock home soon. Why not stay for lunch?
That's tempting, but I must have my spin. Will you excuse me?
Of course. Another time. You're on good terms with our Mrs. Hancock.
I did grow up here.
So did I.
Odd, we never played together. All the rest of us children did hereabouts.
I'm the cat that walked by herself.
Not anymore, Mrs. Craddock.
Not anymore.
And then I went away to school.
So did I, and came back as little as possible.
Pity. I wish we were old friends. You know, true lovers' knots at 15.
I doubt if that would have happened.
No, I'd have probably pulled your pigtails. I didn't appreciate beauty then.
Now I feel like an outsider.
You shouldn't.
So my husband tells me, lady of the manor, good works.
Your destiny. You were engaged to Ralph Lovell.
Yes, you knew him.
I thrashed him once when I was 10 and he was 12. Was that tactless?
You hadn't much reason to love the Lovells.
Oh?
Your father.
I'm glad you said that.
I had no reason to love the Lovell family either.
My dear Mrs. Craddock, one look at you and I was reconciled to all the Lovells, past, present and future. Particularly present.
Mr. Rudd, I believe you have a slight taste for philandering.
Only a hobby.
That sort of thing doesn't amuse me. It's a pity because I do find you quite interesting.
Thank you.
In spite of appearances to the contrary.
Oh?
You're a man who can do things. Machines are your servants. I liked the way you talked about the Navy the other day. And you're not as dull as most men. Come and see me again, without the compliments.
Make a good gunner, Elphers, Mrs. Craddock. Deliver quite a broadside. I will come. Perhaps one day you'll find time to take a drive with me.
Perhaps.
A family matter? What sort of family matter?
I wants to talk to the squire's lady.
Well, Mrs. Craddock? What on earth can you have to say to her?
'Tis a family matter.
So you say. Now, look here, Will. If you're in some trouble, I know all of you better than anybody up at the big house.
They wouldn't listen to you.
Well, Mr. Craddock will be back soon. You can talk to him.
I wants to talk to his lady.
Like, what crackbrain notion have you got in your skull, man? She's a woman, a lady. We don't bother ladies with serious matters.
I don't want to talk to no one else but her.
It's out of the question. You talk to Mr. Craddock or you talk to no one. Will, the squire is a good man.
I know he be, but he's still a foreigner.
He's the squire. He loves this valley. He's one of us now.
But he weren't born to tell us what to do. His lady were. She and Lovell, who've been our masters for hundreds of years. So 'tis her I must go to.
Perhaps your mother is right.
Putting money afore love.
What matters in this valley is land, not love.
I thought...
Well, what did you think?
Well, seeing as...
Well, come on, out with it.
Seeing as you just married yourself, ma'am.
The best way that I can help you is to spell out the truth, which is, your people get their living from the land. It's hard work.
Yes.
Then you should realize that every penny they have has been worked for. They want to preserve it. They want to know that their children will bring the best possible partners into the family to inherit it.
My Eleanor be the best girl.
To you, obviously, but your mother thinks otherwise. If she tells you that common sense is a better ground for marriage than love, whatever that may be, she is right. It needs a cool head, just as any other important step does. Now, Will, would you say you had a cool head?
Ma'am.
I know nothing about your young woman.
'Tis Eleanor Willoughby, ma'am.
I must have seen her when we were small. I'm sure she's as nice and as pretty as you say. But have you chosen her as a partner? Or is she just a passing fancy?
'Tis not passing, ma'am.
You do not know.
I do.
At the moment you're carried away.
'Tis my feelings.
Oh, these feelings are not the most important thing in life. We should beware of them.
Beware, ma'am?
They turn us into slaves. They make our senses overrule our minds.
I don't follow you, ma'am.
You want me to do your thinking for you, and I am doing it. If you must marry...
Eleanor, 'tis her I must wed.
If you must.
And I thought as if you'd help me, ma'am.
I am, Will. I'm telling you at least to think again. Now, if you reject that, there is no more I can say. Will you promise me to do that?
Well...
I'm sorry, Will. I am very busy. Paul?
Will, what brings you here? You waiting to see me?
Will has fallen out with his family about some girl. I've been advising him.
Eleanor Willoughby, splendid girl. I wish you joy. And what's all this about you falling out, hmm?
Well, sir...
Yes?
It's like...
Come on, up with it.
I had a terrible row with Mother, sir, and I left home.
Where are you staying?
Mr. Willoughby, sir, he lets me sleep in the barn. But now he won't go on with the marriage, neither, even though he said yes afore. He don't want to make enemies with no one, not even my ma. Eleanor's crying her eyes out. She say, how can she leave him?
Well, she must if she wants to marry.
But I won't have a farm, sir. Neither up Deep Dean nor Four Winds, not if I weds.
I see.
And I can't go out of the valley unless I'm man and wife, not if I wants a cottage. Eleanor, she won't wed against her father's wish.
I know. Look, I'll see what I can do.
Do, sir?
You better go now, but don't worry. There's a good chap.
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Sir?
Just a moment. I wonder.
Paul, I told Will that in my view...
Please, dear, I'm thinking. I wonder. Will, come here a moment. Do you know what this is?
Yes, sir.
It's a new piece of land that I bought.
Old Ardcastle's been at Periwinkle.
Well, it's mine now.
All the valley knew you was buying it. His widow said so.
Suppose I were to give you Periwinkle Farm. Grace, what do you think?
Do as you think best.
It's only 60 acre.
Yes.
Soil be in terrible shape. It's all marsh down by the river.
Well, there's enough land here to make a living. Just about.
Farmhouse be ruined.
Don't you want it?
Not want it, sir. Not want it. A farm of me own. Me and Eleanor with a farm of our own.
All right, Will, all right.
I'll do it up proper, sir. The farm and the land. I'll work like 3 men,
I'll get Eve Morgan in to repair the house.
No, you won't. No need to squander money. No one will do it my farm except me and Eleanor.
Good man, good man. And as for your mother, I'll talk to her.
Yes, sir.
Now, off you go now and tell Eleanor.
Oh, good day, ma'am. Thank you for seeing me. I don't know how to thank you, sir.
I'll make a go of it. What sort of a morning did you have?
Do you realize I had just advised him against rushing into marriage?
But why?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
They ought to marry.
Perhaps. I dare say you're right, but it didn't occur to you to find out what I'd said. You simply forgot I was there.
Grace, I'm sorry, but I knew I was right. Will won't hold it against you. He won't even remember.
Am I supposed to be grateful?
Oh, Grace, I didn't mean...
Please. Don't let's talk about it anymore. I don't care what becomes of him or her. And I certainly don't wish us to quarrel over them.
Quarrel?
I was only trying to play my part, the squire's lady. I do try.
My love, you're perfect.
Oh, far from it. But I want to do my share in this marriage. I don't want to leave it all to you. I've got all sorts of improvements in mind. For the house and the garden.
Yes, I'm sure you have, but they're not necessary. Just go on being here.
Oh, Paul, please don't talk like that.
Like what?
As if I were an ornament. I am not an object. Do you see? Oh, Paul. Oh, kiss me. Now, kiss me as you want to. You see, I shan't disappoint you.
I'll make you happier.
I am happy.
It'll be all right, I know.
Of course it will.
Just wait till the first child comes.
Oh, don't talk. Just take me to bed.
in, Mr. Craddock. Sit down, sir. Take that chair, Mr. Craddock.
Martin?
Squire?
Sidney, get the dandelion wine out of the buffet. The buffet, Sidney. And a glass for Squire.
Please don't bother, Mrs. Codsall, really.
Oh, it's no bother, Mr. Craddock. I don't often get the chance to receive genteel company as I was brought up to, except when my family come.
How are you, Martin?
Passable, sir.
Good.
Martin, I do think you ought to change those clothes.
No, please. I insist.
Well, Mr. Craddock, I know why you've come. News travels hereabouts. My son William came to see you, and you've come to tell me about it.
Yes. Thank you, Sidney.
I know. And I'm sure you told him his mother knows best. After all, who's to uphold authority if not the squire, eh? Stand up straight, Sidney.
Yes, Mother.
As a matter of fact, I've given him a lease on Periwinkle Farm.
You've...
My boy got Periwinkle Farm of his own?
Yes. He's a first-class worker.
Oh, I am that.
I'm sure you mean well, Mr. Craddock, but I do think you should have consulted me.
I thought you would have been delighted, Mrs. Codsall. You'll have 2 farms in the family. It'll increase your standing in the valley.
You give him that farm, Squire, and you'll rue the day. He's willful, foolish, not fit for responsibility. It'll only strengthen his wicked notion to marry that hussy from Deep Dean who's bewitched him.
Mother, our Will got farm of his own.
Mrs. Codsall, I know you and Will have had your differences, but
It's a shepherd's pie at her cuckoo clock. You can see a stain on the wall. And he smashed her china.
Martin! Talk of such things in front of company. Oh, I'm ashamed Mr. Craddock is not fit for your ears. And what you must think of our William marrying that slut.
I think you misjudge her. I hope I can persuade you to approve.
Approve? Mr. Craddock, never.
Martin.
I'm a man now.
Old or young, a son should be obedient. Honor thy father and thy mother, the good book says. And what's more, Mr. Craddock, you're wasting your time. Even that old ranter Willoughby has turned against them, so I've heard.
No, Mrs. Codsall, he has not. I've just been to see him. I've convinced him that the young couple ought to marry.
You have?
Will must start work on the farm at once if he's to get a harvest in this year, and that means an early wedding.
Aye, and just got time to clear and plough.
Is it right to come between mother and son, Mr. Craddock?
He would have had to have left the valley otherwise.
I couldn't stand for my boy to wear himself out to strangers.
I thought it my duty. Will and Eleanor will have a farm of their own and live near to Mr. Willoughby, and just as near to you too, Mrs. Codsall. You and Martin will be able to see your grandchildren grow up.
I suppose they're to be married in that chapel.
Yes. We fixed the date.
You have? Well, let me tell you, I've never set foot in a chapel yet, and I never shall.
Oh, Martin, can't you do anything?
No, Squire, I can't.
First you take the son away, now you come between husband and wife.
Mrs. Codsall, I shall go to the wedding. Please come.
I've told you, never.
All the valley will be there.
We'll see about that. And who's to be best man, I wonder? One of the Potters. I wouldn't put it past him. That family of harlots and thieves is just about his sort.
I shall be best man. I thought it right, and I'm sure you will too when you've given it some thought. Now just think it over, Mrs. Codsall. I must do what I think is right. Right for Will, right for the Willoughbys, and right for you too, I'm sure. Will doesn't really want to go his own way. Make it up with him. I'll see myself out, Mrs. Codsall. Good day, Martin.
Never. Never!
I did hear something about Eleanor and your Will.
I'm sure you did. I take that for granted in these parts.
And have you come to invite us?
Invite you? To see my Will disgrace me and make a spectacle of himself in that tuppenny shanty they call a chapel.
What have you called for then, Mrs. Codsall?
To make sure you do not go.
Oh, what made you think us were going?
Oh, 'twould be unkind not to, dear.
Unkind, Mrs. Derwent. Oh, have a thought for me, an ill-treated mother. Keep away. Let that wicked son of mine and that rabble he's chosen see that they're shunned and despised.
Oh, dear. I'm sorry for you, Mrs. Codsall. You have taken it hard.
She've a right to take it hard. I don't know what children are coming to these days.
Quite right, Mr. Derwent. I'm thankful somebody knows right from wrong. A bad example is soon followed. What's more, we have this interfering young squire to think of.
Mr. Craddock's a nice young man. He's done some good things.
Oh, does he know what's good for us and what's bad? He's a foreigner from London. He's hardly been here a year.
I've always said, Liz, think a young man's too big for his boots.
He's turned everything topsy-turvy. Now, why must he always favour the riffraff against the decent folk?
Riff-raff, Mrs. Cotsell?
Well, he set Sam Potter up in a cottage, didn't he? When he'd have done better to pack the whole boiling of Potters out of this valley neck and crop. He's set my good-for-nothing son against me. And now, if you please, he comes to my house, sits in my best chair, and tells me he's going to attend the wedding.
Oh, he's going, is he?
He is. What's more, he's going to be best man.
Best man? Think of that.
Squire's young. He needs teaching. We must all make a stand against this marriage. I knew I could count on you, Mr. Derwent, after what you've suffered at his hands.
Count on us?
If you give the lead, others will follow. You're the biggest farmer hereabouts.
I haven't promised aught. What did he mean by us suffering at Squire's hand, Mrs. Cotsell?
Oh, I don't like to talk about it. It's too painful to mention.
No, I wish he would, Mrs. Cotsell. I'd like to know.
Well, you're Claire.
Our Claire?
What about our Claire, Mrs. Cotsell?
Look, everybody knows you have my deepest sympathy.
Thank you, Mrs. Cotsell, but what for?
Well, for having sent the poor girl away like that.
Like what?
Oh, Mr. Derwent, I'm a Christian woman. I speak no evil and judge not others. But we all know why girls have to be packed off like that in a hurry. We all know how that Mr. Craddock treated that poor girl last summer. My heart's heavy for you. Heavy indeed.
Arabella Cotsell, when he walked in here, I knew 'twas no neighbourly visit. You haven't paid a friendly visit to a soul about here, not in all the years you've been wed to Martin.
I keep myself to myself, Mr. Derwent, but
I don't want your butts. I should have known 'twas scandal and mischief you go for.
Mr. Derwent, you misunderstand.
I do understand, you foul-minded hag. How dare he spread nasty slander and lies, damn lies, about our Claire?
I spoke nothing but the truth.
Lies, and you'm just as ready to lie and slander again your own son and the squire. I didn't care about the wedding one way or t'other. I got my own business to tend to. I got no special love for Squire Craddock, why should I? But I don't mean to fall out with him neither. I has to deal with a man.
If Squire be going, I'm sure 'tis good enough for me.
And for me, and for Rose. As'll all be there, Arabella Cotsell. And I'll say good luck to Will for getting away from me. I'm only sorry for poor old Martin. He'm a harmless, hard-working fella. And he have to put up with Eve for as long as you'm breathing.
You curl yourself a gentleman.
No. Not if you'm a specimen of a lady. There's the door.
Afternoon, Mrs. Cotsell.
And you're no better than you should be, I'll warrant. I should have known better than to talk to folks who let their daughter breed horses, hobnob with grooms, put mares to stud. And what else, I wonder? Ha!
What do you want me to do, Parson?
Stay away from that damn wedding.
It did seem the least I could do was Squire.
Hey, and what about me, man? Heaven's above the earth, isn't it?
I wouldn't dream of ignoring your advice, Parson Bull. Talking of advice, what do you think of this? I've been offered a dozen.
Seems a good brandy. Yeah, you're not trying to fob me off.
No, please do tell me what you have against this wedding.
Scripture, man. Any lad that disobeys his mother is going against Scripture.
That's very true. I'd like your honest opinion.
Wish your brain was as good as your brandy.
Well, perhaps it'll teach me wisdom. Your health.
Yours? A gift from the Almighty himself. And that's another thing. That damn smirking teetotal is the girl's father, Willoughby. The man's a dangerous agitator.
Not an agitator, Parson, surely.
Chapel's mutiny, mutiny. Poor man should go to church, kneel to his God and honor his master. Dissent's as bad as this damn liberalism. Keep 'em out. Keep 'em out. Splendid stuff.
Oh, allow me. I am truly sorry I didn't consult you first,
I shall think so.
But Will is a good farmer. I've given him a lease on Periwinkle, but he needs a wife.
That's all very well.
By the way, what do you think of this brandy? Should I order some more?
Of course, you're damn fool. Tell him to send me a dozen as well. That's all very well, but... Oh! Damn it, I'll tell you the truth. This whole wretched affair would be beneath my notice, only I've got Arabella Cotsell nagging me day and night.
So we all know what Arabella is.
She's an hellcat, that's what she is. But she's also my best helper. What with the flowers, her altar cloths. She makes a nice damson wine, I will say that.
That's very true.
Go
straight through your veins.
What am I to do, lad? She's forever at me.
Arabella won't say yes to a wedding at any price. Not even if it were in a church. Or a mosque, for that matter.
Mosque? Mosque? That's good, I like that. Well, I must be going. Your groom's holding my horse. I told him I wouldn't be long. I wash my hands of it. Let them do what they will. I wash my hands of the whole damn affair. After all, the girl's a maid. Damn few here bring their maidenheads to church. Don't forget to order the brandy.
No, I won't, Parson. Good night.
Good night.
I do think I ought to drive.
Never! This is wonderful!
We shouldn't have stayed so long at the Branwells.
No, I had that breakdown. I thought you never had breakdowns.
Sorry. Look, I do think I should drive.
No! Oh!
You all right?
Yes, my fault. I didn't see anything.
Pample, that milk church in the middle of the lane. I can't see any damage. The axle's all right. We need a couple of horses to shift her.
So what do we do?
Walk.
And Venner brought us home in his cart. Roddy thinks he can get the motor mended later.
Hang the motor! It's you gallivanting about with that young idiot.
Paul, you're not jealous. Not of Roddy.
The Venners knew you were out with him half the night. What will people say?
Paul, do you care what people will say?
About my wife, yes.
No, but you. If I tell you that nothing happened, do you believe me?
Oh, of course I... Oh, Grace, of course I believe you. I shouldn't even have made you say it. I'm sorry. It's just because I love you so very much.
I'll go up. I'm pretty tired.
Things are all right, aren't they?
Of course they're all right.
I've been thinking about everything. If only we could share things more.
We do share things.
You don't care for the valley as I do.
Oh, my dear, is the whole world only one small valley?
For me, yes. Now, wives do share their husbands' beliefs.
Mostly they pretend to, Paul. I can't pretend.
I know what you've given up for me. All the fascinations of London.
Paul, why don't we go up there together?
I came here to get away from London.
But you never knew how much there was to enjoy. Let me show you. And it'd be so exciting for me to learn how the women's movement is getting on.
The suffragettes? Votes for women? Mrs. Pankhurst?
Don't say it like that. She's a great woman.
Ranting, tub-thumping, there's nothing great about that.
If
it demeans
gets us the votes.
womanhood. Oh, Grace, I didn't mean to quarrel. I don't want to keep you a prisoner. You go to London.
Me on my own?
Sometimes. I'm sure it'll be better for us both. Whenever you feel the need to, just go.
Devil's got into everybody. You listening to me?
Yes, Mother.
Do you think I can rely on them? Do you think I can rely on a single one of them? Martin?
Yes, Mother.
Some of them were downright rude. Others were polite, but I could see their shifty eyes. Ha! They'll go. And do you know why they'll go? To spite me. Out of envy and malice, because I'm their better.
Nothing you can do about it.
I won't have them score over me. Nor Will, nor his precious in-laws.
I miss Will.
You can manage.
I don't mean the farm.
Oh, you miss him, do you? You should have thought of that before you brought him up to be a crude yokel against all my strivings, only fit to marry a yokel's daughter.
Be my firstborn.
More's the pity.
My farm should have gone to weed.
Your farm?
I haven't forgot your father's money.
You'd better not.
Who'll work the farm after I'm gone?
It'll go to Sydney.
We couldn't pick dandelion.
He's got a good head. I don't expect him to demean himself with dirt. He'll make some business-like arrangement.
Others to enjoy the land I made good.
Ark at him. I haven't heard him use so many words in a month. What's got into you, Martin Codsall?
Good book says turn the other cheek. I've been doing that for 20 years. Will couldn't do it no longer.
You're soft in the head like your grandfather. He died in an asylum.
Will frightened you?
Nobody frightens me. And nobody's going to sneer at me in that chapel.
You can't stop it now.
Oh, yes, I can.
Bella.
I can stop it, and I will stop it. I'll stop it so that this valley and all who laugh behind my back will have something to talk about for the rest of their lives.
I'll be throttled for I'm wed.
Won't be long, Will.
Will looks like he's in a suit of armour.
He'll be out of it come bedtime.
Oh, Edward.
Where is everyone?
My Arthur's having a smoke outside, Mr. Craddock.
Maybe he's with the Potters. They got a barrel of cider in their car.
The cheek of it, ma'am. One of they chapel women bumped into me and she said, "Sorry, sister." Oh, I nearly told her I wouldn't be seen dead in the chapel if 'tweren't out of kindness for the young couple.
Arabella and Martin Consul are not here yet.
Nor will be from the way she talked to us.
Oh, yes, she will. Or change her mind. She sent around a note to the squire to say so. Of course, she wouldn't lower herself to tell Will direct. She sent Sydney with the note.
Changed her mind. I always said that was good in everybody.
Bride is due at any moment. Your mother and father are not here yet, Mr. Consul.
No.
Hurry up. Don't look at that shoelace. Do it up.
You've no call to do it, Mother.
You wanted to go? We're going.
There's no call to shame her by.
I mean to do more than shame him.
It won't fetch Will back.
I don't want him back. You do, you weakling. But you won't have him.
Mother, I beg ye. Oh, what's the good of it?
Do up that shoelace. Go on, go on. I'll tell you what the good of it is. There'll be no wedding. I shall march in there and stand in front of that minister, and I shall raise my voice loud enough for the Lord himself to hear. I shall denounce the pair of them. I shall tell him the way that slut has beguiled my son with the sins of the flesh.
It's not true.
I shall cry their sins to the rooftops. I shall pour my objections into that minister's ear, and I shall dare him to go on with this sin, this disgrace.
They'll never let
And if
you.
I'm dragged out screaming, that little prostitute who's stolen my son will remember her wedding day with tears for the rest of her life. Come on. Go on.
Steady, Will. Steady.
It's getting late, I fear. There's another wedding to follow. Are you sure the bridegroom's parents are coming?
Yes. I pleaded with Mrs. Consul. We must wait. It'll make all the difference to your future, Will.
She's still getting herself up to impress us.
Shh, Edward.
Mr. Craddock, I'm afraid we shall have to start very soon.
Are you sure this is a shortcut?
I know me way.
Fool, you're going the wrong way. Pull her up. Turn him around at once.
Get up!
No! No!
After me, please. I do solemnly declare that I know not of any lawful impediment.
I do solemnly declare that I know not of any lawful impediment.
Well, Mother, here we stay.
I give thee this ring.
As token and memorial.
As token and memorial.
That I have taken thee to be my wife.
That I have taken thee to be my wife.